Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. What's going on, you may ask? What is he wearing? So today I would like to talk to you about traditional Venetian clothing, and I'm wearing the part of those that I keep here in Ireland. I am Sam, I'm coming to you from Dublin, Ireland, and in this Vlogmas Christmas Advent series I would like to share with you my traditions around Christmas and how I grew up with in a very traditional, very northern Italian Venetian family. So we lit up our first Christmas candle yesterday, and it's still shining here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me bring the Christmas crown over. Yeah, here you are. I need to be very careful because this thing is probably very flammable. Anyway, over this series I would like to share with you my traditions, and today I want to talk about Christmas clothing. I am basically wearing my pyjama, or actually a t-shirt and shorts, and I have this huge cape on the top. This is, man-wise, probably the most traditional piece of clothing that we have in my region. It's true for the old Venetian region. This was one of the main, and is still one of the main pieces that you would have with your folk costume, but it's not true because not just folk, but you use this all year round. Anyway, this is called tabaro, and I don't know if the rangefinder of my camera can show anything there, but it's basically a giant wheel of wool fabric that is actually cut in a single piece, and you use it on the top of your actual clothing, your shirt and your jumpers, and you make this lovely gesture here, keeping one of the wings, one of the sides of the wheel, and throwing that on the back of your shoulder. And so you stay very warm and cozy underneath. It's long to my ankles and it's quite heavy. This piece was designed in the Middle Ages, probably, to keep up with the very cold temperature of Venice and the Alps as well. You can have pictures of people rowing gondolas, wearing this thing, working in the fields, skiing, even climbing, doing all sorts of chores around the cities and the countrysides, wearing this type of robes, this tabaro. The word tabaro is a very Venetian word. It indicates this type of clothing, but over the years it changed meaning, becoming the meaning of anything that is big and throwy on, like a big jumper, a big coat, something to keep you warm and cozy, un tabaro. Or even of a person that is a little bit exuberant, outgoing, really loud. That is a tabaro. Originally, tabaros like this are black, made, as I said, in a single piece. This is to remember the fact that the vest of Jesus was made in a single piece as well. They tend to be very expensive, really expensive. I got this one brand new, made by one of the few people that are left in Venice that make tabaros, and I think I spent a couple of €1,000 on this. It's just because nowadays it's very difficult to find factories that create wool in a single piece. I do have, though, my great grandfather's tabaro at home, is a little bit shorter, and it's a little bit lighter as well. I will probably show that to you in the future. It's a nice piece of clothing, but I don't wear it all the time because you know, it's a thing that goes down to generations in my family for the past couple of 100 years, and I don't want to ruin it, or you know, get it stained or whatever. So I wear it in very specific occasion only. And currently, of course, is coming down from my mom's generation. This is only a male piece of clothing, so my mom couldn't wear it because she's a woman. She has her own thing to wear, and my dad couldn't wear it because, you know, he's coming from another family, so it came down to my generation, to me, as the first nephew in the family, the first male guy in the family. But yeah, apart from that, the other characteristic is the closure. These are called, let me come back to the camera. I don't know if you can see that. These are two buttons that are called alamari, and they are traditionally shaped like clams, and they just have a little chain to fasten them up a little bit. If I can do that on camera, here we go. On the back of the collar you will have a piece here that unbuttons, and I know this is quite awkward probably, but this piece here unbuttons. You can turn it all the way through the collar and fasten it on another button here to keep your face quite nice and toasty as well. So the clams here are generally used for people that are not married or that are not at age, and yeah, I got mine because the tabaro itself was very expensive, so I couldn't upgrade to having the other type of closure, which are shaped like a lion's head, which is the symbol of the Venetian Republic, and they are generally made out of silver. Over the time I actually managed to buy them, so I need to find the time to unpick this and put on the new one. Eventually that will come. I'm not using this piece of clothing on a regular basis here because it's big and unusual, and if you go out and about with this thing in Dublin, they probably think you are related to the Count Dracula, and I would like to avoid that, although I probably am related to that. But anyway, this is one of the pieces of clothing in our festive costume, traditional Venetian costume. We do have a couple of more things that I unfortunately don't have it here, but they are back in Italy because I was there for my sister's graduation and we wore traditional costume, and they are true for all the celebrations. You usually have long white socks. They are hand knitted with beautiful cables. You will have some sort of I think they are called Knickerbockers or something like that. In Germany they are called Lederhosen. Ours are a little bit more simple. They are usually black trousers. They come just down to the cuff and they fasten with a little leather strap. But they are generally made out of wool. They are not made out of leather or anything else. And as well you will have a white shirt with some embroidery in the collar piece, and the embroidery usually recall or your family crest or nature stuff like edelweiss, stag's head, owls, that little type of thing. I'm not quite familiar with women costume, but they tend to wear long skirts with a black apron on the top, which is fastened in a cross fashion over the chest with a white or blue t-shirt underneath, and we both share always a headpiece. Male would have what is called a cappellaccio, which is a big black wool-made hat, and women would always have a scarf on their head, or a foulard, as they call it, with flowers or stuff like that. The last piece of my traditional costume is a big bow, which can be of different fashion. By tradition in my family, we wear the so-called mazziniana, which is a big, fat black bow that falls down on your chest, but you can decide to wear just a black tie, which is completely fine. And if you're fancy enough, I never was, you will have another black waistcoat underneath, made once again out of wool. So I just wanted to share with you this little piece. It's just because I'm very close to this dress here, and I find that it's quite unusual and quite beautiful. It's really cumbersome, really heavy, but yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this little episode today. And do remember that we do have an eat-along, and I'm mentioning this every day. But if you want to win some prizes, choose one of my patterns and tag me somewhere on the internet using the hashtag An Irish Knitting Podcast, and I will draw prizes at the end of Advent calendar time on the 24th of December. And I will see you very soon, and I'm going to take off this thing because I'm boiling. Bye bye!